Hello, and welcome to Devlog 3. In this episode we'll be making a huge improvement to the speed and memory usage, and I'll also be adding portals. The main inefficiency is that for each ray, the program loops over every triangle in the scene and calculates an intersection with it, and since each pixel that isn't black has around 30 rays, that is an enormous waste of time. To fix this, we can create a bounding box for each object, so each ray has to check 6 faces. This isn't the best because if a ray does intersect a bounding box, it still has to check all those faces, but I'll tackle that problem in the next episode. Right now, each object uses a lot of memory because each triangle holds 3 points and a material, but these could be shared by multiple triangles, so it would be much less wasteful if we had an array of points and materials. Each triangle can then hold indexes in those arrays. Another thing we can do is to allocate exactly how many points and triangles the object has instead of having an array with a set size. This would also enable us to have objects as big as we want, at least theoretically, since I still use temporary arrays to read the OBJ file, but I have an idea on how to remove this limit in the future. During the last improvements I somehow removed the code that checks for face normals so that we don't waste that much time with triangles that face away from the camera. This also caused the objects to look weird, but I'm not sure why, because this should only affect speed and not visual quality. Well, anyway, it is fixed now. After a few more small tweaks here and there, the ray tracer only uses 67 megabytes of memory and takes approximately 15 seconds to render. Compared to the start of the episode, that's 65% less memory and 76% faster. After these I also added an animation mode and a scale value, but I seem to have run into a few issues. The middle of the cube keeps disappearing and I'm not quite sure why yet. I didn't want to spend too much time on the scale problem because I still don't have rotation, and that might change the way I calculate rays, so I moved on to portals. Without rotation I cheated a bit with the portals. They can only face toward the Z-axis because every ray that enters one of them just gets flipped and placed exiting the linked portal. It looks good for now, but once I have rotation I'll also update the portals because it isn't as fun if they can only face one direction. That's all I did since last time, but I'm sure to work on this project more since I'm done with all my school exams and I have a whole summer to waste. I definitely need to get rotations working. I don't quite understand how quaternions work yet. I did work on a fast renderer that isn't as photorealistic, but it's good for testing and actually making it playable and not a slideshow. Unfortunately, most of it broke during some improvements and I decided to focus on the ray tracer for now. I'd love to add textures, and the fast renderer had something similar to UV coordinates already calculated. It would also be nice to be able to import all sorts of different file formats, not just OBJ. Thank you for watching, and enjoy this short animation I made.